Hello, third graders. Today we are on page 145 of your student journal, and we are doing lesson 5. Okay, our goal today, or our objective today, is today I will solve word problems using time intervals. Period. Okay, so we've been doing time intervals for 2 days now. And remember our 3 strategies we were using, where we would move on the clock, we would use adding and subtracting, or we would use a number line. Those have been the 3 strategies that we've been practicing to do our time intervals. So I'm just going to put those there so we can talk about those in a few minutes. Now, if I look back at my vocabulary, it tells me more detail of what a time interval is, the period of time between 2 events. And we're going to see that today when they talk about our word problems, that they're going to give very clear or very specific events of time. We've been talking a lot about that 60 minutes equals 1 hour. We did talk a little bit about what AM and PM are, but then I want us to look down here because this is what we're going to be using to help us. These are kind of like math sentence frames in a way. So it says equation to find ending time. We could have what time we started, how long we spent doing the activity, and then that will tell us what time we finished. Or if we want to find the equation to find the time interval, we could say when did we end, because it's going to be a larger number, take away when we started, and that will tell us how long we spent on it. So I'm going to put a big star because when you're doing yours on your own, you might need to come back to these to help you create your equations. Okay, so what does this actually look like? I'm going to show you my first problem. My first problem says, Nancy went to the park at 4 o'clock. She played for 35 minutes. What time did she leave the park? And then they've already helped me a little bit by giving me times here. So what was her starting time? Well, she started at the park at 4 o'clock. Do I know what was the amount of time she played for? Yes. She played for 35 minutes. And remember, minutes go after the time interval. After the colon, because hours go in front. So what time did she finish? Okay, well, how would I do that? So remember, I have 3 strategies. Now the problem is the clock strategy, they don't provide a clock for me. So that might not be the strategy I want to use. I might want to use adding and subtracting the minutes or create a number line. So I think for this one, I think I would add my minutes. So I have 0 minutes plus 35 equals 35. So her ending time is 4:35. Okay, let me look at my next problem. And what I see is Rita began her swim lesson at 3:15. Her lesson ended at 4:51. How long was her lesson? Okay, so this asked me to put my ending time first. So her ending time was 4:51. Her starting time was 3:15. So what was the time interval? So again, remember my choices. My choices are the clock, adding and subtracting, or the number line. I think this one, I might just add and subtract. I have 51 minutes minus 15 minutes. So how many minutes is that going to give me? 51 minus 15. And I can come over here and solve if I need some room. So 1 take away 5, I need to borrow. 11 take away 5 is 6. And 4 take away 1 is 3. So I would have 36 minutes. Okay, also, now notice it was 4 hours, take away 3 hours. So that I would need to put 1 hour. So her swim lesson was 1 hour, 36 minutes long. Okay, let's try 2 of these together. So we're going to be on page 146. Okay, 146. Okay, so our first problem says, Robert started practicing the piano at 3:15. He practiced for 27 minutes. What time did he finish? What time did he finish? So I could use this to help me. This says equation to find ending time. I want to find what time he ended or finished. So they tell me put my start time. They say to put our start time. And then they say to add. And then they say add how long he spent. How long. And they tell us here that's going to give us our ending time or our end time. So I just use that to help us. So what do we know? We know our start time was 3:15. We know he practiced for 27 minutes. Okay, so again, we have 3 strategies. We have a clock, but they didn't give us one. We have adding and subtracting, or we have a number line. I think I'm just gonna add 15 minutes plus 27 minutes gives us 5 plus 7 is 12. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 1 more is 42. So it gives us 42 minutes, and he didn't add any hours, so he's at 3:42 is what time he finished practicing. Okay, let's do one more together. Noah's soccer team started practice at 5 o'clock. They ended practice at 5:53. How long was their practice? Okay, so let's look here to help us. We want to know how long his practice was. So they say put their end time first, and I should have used these little lines above. Put our end time, and then they say put a subtraction sign, minus or take away our start time, and that's going to tell us how long something happened or the time interval. Okay, so what do we know? We know they ended at 5:53. We know they started at 5 o'clock. Okay, so how long did he practice? Again, I could use a clock, but I don't have one. I could use a number line, but this I could do using subtraction. 53 minutes minus 0 minutes gives me 53 minutes. And 5, take away 5 would just be nothing. So he practiced 53 minutes. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, today you're going to try these 2 on your own, 1 and 2, on page 147. I will see you tomorrow.